Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the November 2023 Council Agenda Briefing. We acknowledge and pay our respects to the traditional custodians of this land, the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation, and their elders past and present. I would like to advise everyone that the audio of this meeting is being live streamed to YouTube. I request everyone to please turn off their mobile phones. I remind you that audio recording and photography within the chamber of the meeting proceedings is prohibited unless prior approval has been granted, and councillors and city officers are reminded to disclose any declarations of financial interests and interests affecting impartiality, and are requested to activate their microphones when addressing the meeting. So, with that, welcome. I declare this meeting open at 1 minute past 6 p.m. The first semi-item here is items for council, and agenda items 2, 3, 6, 7, 8.1, 8.2, 9, 11, 13 and 14 will be dealt with at the ordinary council meeting to be held on 21 November 2023. That brings us to item 4, which is attendances. Item 4.1 is apologies, and I haven't received any apologies for this meeting, although I do understand that Councillor Choi may be running a bit late tonight. So thank you for letting me know about that, Councillor Vard. Item 4.2 is approved leaves of absence, and Councillor Nick Coveney did have an approved leave of absence for the period of 3 November 2023 to 14 November 2023 inclusive. But Councillor Coveney is here tonight, so welcome. That brings us to item 5, which is declarations of interest. That's Mayor Greg Milner. I've declared an impartiality interest in item 10.1.1, as I know many of the nominees. Councillors, does anyone else have any declaration of interest that they wish to make this evening? Councillor Navard.
Like you, Mr Mayor, I too have a declaration of interest for 10.1.1, and that is for a similar reason. It's an impartiality interest, and some of the participants are known to me.
Thank you, Councillor Navard. Are there any other declarations of interest this evening? No. Okay. Moving on to item 8, which is presentations. Item 8.3 is deputations, but we don't have any deputations this evening. That brings us to item 10, which is the draft November reports. So I'm about to hand us over to the Chief Executive Officer, Mr Mike Bradford, to take us through the balance of the draft November reports. But before I do, just a reminder that tonight is a council agenda briefing, which means that the members get the opportunity to ask questions of the City Administration about any items on the agenda for tonight and for next week. But we save all debate or statements for next week. So it's questions only tonight. With that, take it away, Mr Bradford.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Item 10.1.1, City of South Perth 2024 AusSpire Community Citizen of the Year Awards, nominations, assessment and recommendations. This report seeks Council's approval of the award recipients for the City of South Perth 2024 AusSpire Community Citizen of the Year Award. There is a confidential attachment for this item as well.
Thank you, Mr Bradford. Councillors, do we have any questions for the City Administration on this item this evening? No. Next item, please, Mr Bradford.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Item 10.3.1, tender number 9 of 2023, provision of weed control in roads and pathways services. This report considers submissions received from the advertising of tender 9 of 23 for the provision of weed control services in roads and pathways. The report outlines the assessment process used for the evaluation of tenders received and recommends approval of the tender that provides the best value for money and level of service to the City. I note that there is also a confidential attachment for this item.
Thank you, Mr Bradford. Councillors, do we have any questions for the City Administration? Councillor Prendeville.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I have one question. I'd like to know if the City has considered or investigated the use of a chemical-free weed control system such as saturated steam, and if so, what are the implications of such a system on the City? Thank you.
Thank you. Ms Amprimo, can I send that your way?
Thank you, Mr Mayor, and thank you, Councillor Prendeville, for the question. The city does have selected locations where it uses steam treatment. They are small in comparison to the overall area of treatment across the city. We also have considered the cost of broadening that. You'd be looking at around between an extra $4 and $5 million a year onto our operational cost if we were to cover all of the works that are under this tender using steam treatment.
Thank you, Ms Ampremo. Councillors, any further questions on this item? No. Next item, please, Mr Bradford.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Item 10.3.2, Draft Local Planning Policy, Childcare Premises, Final Adoption. The purpose of this report is for Council to consider adopting draft amended local planning policy, childcare premises, following advertising.
Thank you, Mr Bradford. Councillors, any questions for the administration? No. Next item, please, Mr Bradford.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Item 10.3.3, Draft Local Planning Policy, Advertising Signage, Final Adoption. The purpose of this report is for Council to consider adopting draft amended local planning policy, advertising signage, following advertising.
Thank you. Councillors, do we have any questions for the administration on this item? No. Next item, please, Mr Bradford.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Item 10.3.4, Response to Notice of Motion Waste Plan. This report provides information in response to the Notice of Motion passed at the Ordinary Council meeting held on the 25th of October 2022, titled Waste Plan Update. The report follows a workshop held with Council on the 7th of November 2023.
Thank you, Mr Bradford. Councillors, do we have any questions for the administration? No. Next item, please, Mr Bradford.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Item 10.4.1, Listing of Payments October 2023. This report presents to Council a list of accounts paid under delegated authority between 1 and 31 October 2023 for information. It also includes purchase card transactions between 1 September and 30 September in line with new legislative requirements.
Thank you, Mr Bradford. Councillors, do we have any questions for the administration on this item? No questions. Next item, please, Mr Bradford.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Item 10.4.2, Monthly Financial Statements, October 2023. The monthly financial statements are provided within attachments A through I, with a high level of analysis contained in the comments of the report.
Thank you, Mr Bradford. Any questions, councillors? No. Next item, please, Mr Bradford.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Item 10.4.3, Metro Inner South Joint Development Assessment Panel. This report seeks the appointment of councillors to the Metro Inner South Joint Development Assessment Panel for the period 26th of January 2024 to 26th of January 2026.
Thank you, Mr Bradford. Councillors, any questions on this item? Councillor Cridland.
I note the report says that we have to have 4 people nominated by the 26th, I think it's the 26th of January, and that's when my term runs out, but that the department won't start training people until sometime after the 27th of January. So my question is, do we have any real idea of when they might carry out this training rather than just after the 27th of January? And is the training a full day, or will it be done differently now?
Who should I send that to? Ms Shaw?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. So we've sought some advice from the Department of Planning, Lands and Heritage on this. At this point in time, they haven't been able to provide us a further update as to the type of training and whether it would be online or in person, or the exact date that it would likely occur. In the past, it has been a full day session in person though, but we haven't received any further advice that there would be training held earlier to provide for members or elected members to represent the city at the JDAP.
Thank you, Ms Shaw. Any further questions on this item, councillors? No. Next item, please, Mr Bradford.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Item 10.4.4, Local Emergency Management Committee for Canning South Perth Delegates. This report seeks the appointment of 2 councillor delegates to the Local Emergency Management Committee for Canning and South Perth for the period 21 November 2023 to 18 October 2025.
Thank you, Mr Bradford. Councillors, any questions on this item? No. Next item, please, Mr Bradford.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Item 10.4.5, City of South Perth Public Health Reference Group. This report seeks the appointment of a councillor to the City of South Perth Public Health Reference Group for the period 21 November 2023 to 18 October 2025.
Thank you. Any questions on this item, councillors? That's a no. Okay. That concludes item 10. We move on to item 12, which is motions of which previous notice has been given. That's nil. Item 15 is ordinarily when we would close the meeting to the public, but there's no reason to do that tonight, which brings us to item 16, which is closure. So before I close the meeting, I'd like to thank everyone for their attendance and participation this evening. This is possibly a new record for the City of South Perth, and I declare the meeting closed at 11 minutes past 6 p.m. Thank you all, and good night.